Welcome. Today, we're exploring the XONJX XIIIth Grade Grace Pass Trust and how it stacks up against traditional legal structures. This innovative trust blends US and Jamaican law, digital tokens, and a unique grace pass for debt conversion. We'll break down its core features, compare it to 5 alternative structures, and help you understand the pros, cons, and practical implications for stakeholders. Whether you're considering forming a trust, a nonprofit, or another entity, this guide will clarify formation processes, costs, regulatory frameworks, and operational realities. Let's begin by understanding what makes the XONJX Trust unique. XONJX Trust operates as a charitable debt conversion instrument. It issues Tink Gold TTG tokens to participants, aiming to convert student loans and other debts into tax-exempt bonds under the Grace Pass program. Legally, it's a fiduciary relationship. Trustees hold property for beneficiaries, not a separate legal entity. The trust charter references U.S. tax code, Jamaican law, and international agreements like UNDRIP. This multi-jurisdictional foundation affects liability, management, and operational flexibility, setting it apart from more conventional structures. Let's introduce the 5 main alternatives: the 501c3 nonprofit church, the 508c1a church, the unincorporated business organization UBO, secured party and creditor arrangements, and the foreign grantor trust. Each has distinct legal bases, formation processes, and implications for liability, tax, and compliance. Understanding these options is crucial for anyone considering the best fit for their mission, risk tolerance, and operational needs. We'll examine each in detail, starting with the 501c3 church. Forming a 501c3 church involves several steps: drafting articles and filing with the state, preparing bylaws and holding meetings, registering for charitable solicitation, filing Form 1023 for federal tax exemption, and opening a bank account for fundraising. Each step has associated costs and time requirements. For example, filing fees range from £8 to £226.60, and attorney assistance can add up to £2,000. The process provides strong legal recognition and donor confidence but requires substantial documentation and compliance. Formation costs vary dramatically. Secured party filings are the least expensive, often under £100, but offer no tax or liability benefits. Foreign grantor trusts require significant investment, up to £40,000 or more, while 501c3 and 508c1a churches fall in the middle, balancing cost with recognized charitable status. Business trusts and UBOs have moderate costs but limited legal recognition. Understanding these differences helps organizations budget realistically and avoid unexpected expenses. 508c1a church follows similar steps as a 501c3 but skips the lengthy Form 1023 application. This saves both time and money: no £275.600 filing fee and up to 100 hours of preparation. However, churches must still meet all Section 501c3 requirements and may need to prove their status to donors or banks. Annual reporting is waived, but operational rules remain strict. This structure offers convenience, but some funders prefer formal IRS recognition. UBO is formed through a private trust deed, not incorporation. This offers flexibility and privacy but comes with limited legal recognition. The process involves drafting a trust deed, transferring property to trustees, opening trust bank accounts, and ongoing administration. Costs range from £1,000 to £5,000 with additional annual fees. UBOs are not tax exempt, and income passes through to beneficiaries or is taxed at trust rate. Banks may be hesitant to serve UBOs due to regulatory uncertainty. Secured party arrangements involve filing a UCC-1 financing statement to secure a creditor's interest in collateral. This process is simple and inexpensive, often completed within hours for a small fee. However, it provides no tax or liability benefits and is not a funding structure. Beware of pseudo-legal schemes claiming debt elimination through UCC filings. These are fraudulent and can result in criminal charges. Legitimate secured party status only protects a creditor's right to collateral. Foreign grantor trusts are the most complex and expensive option. They require selecting a jurisdiction, engaging legal counsel, drafting trust deeds, paying trustee acceptance fees, and ongoing compliance. Initial setup can cost £18,700 to £40,000, with annual fees of £4,000 to £13,000. These trusts offer robust asset protection and privacy but are suitable only for individuals with significant assets and genuine creditor threats. U.S. tax and reporting obligations remain, and misuse can trigger penalties. Time required to form and maintain each structure varies. A full 501c3 application can take over 100 hours, while a 508c1a church saves significant time by skipping Form 1023. Business trusts and UBOs require 20-50 hours for setup and ongoing administration. Foreign grantor trusts demand 6,100 hours initially, plus annual compliance. Secured party filings are the quickest, often completed in just a few hours. Consider your organization's capacity before choosing a structure. XONJX Trust's mission aligns with biblical principles of debt forgiveness, such as the Jubilee Year and teachings from Jesus and Paul. Canon law supports church property management for charitable purposes. These scriptural and ethical foundations provide moral legitimacy for debt relief and charitable trusts, reinforcing the trust's mission to serve communities and promote stewardship. United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRIP, underpins the XONJX Trust's approach to indigenous empowerment. UNDRIP affirms economic self-determination, development priorities, and access to financial assistance for indigenous communities. The trust structure supports these principles by enabling debt discharge and community-driven economic initiatives, respecting cultural values and legal system. Article 17 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights protects property rights, ensuring no one is arbitrarily deprived of property. Trusts and corporate entities implement this principle by providing legal mechanisms to safeguard assets. The XONJX Trust aims to protect participants' property while facilitating debt relief and economic empowerment, translating human rights into practical legal structures. Legitimate business trusts derive from common law principles, where property is held by trustees for beneficiaries. However, pseudo-legal claims citing maritime law or the UCC to eliminate debts are unfounded and often fraudulent. The IRS warns against pure trusts marketed as tax shelters. Properly formed business trusts must have genuine business purposes and cannot be used solely for tax avoidance. Each structure has a distinct legal basis and regulatory oversight. The XONJX Trust is a private trust governed by U.S. and Jamaican law with potential IRS oversight if seeking exemption. 501(c)(3) and 508(c)(1)(a) churches are subject to IRS and state regulation. Business trusts face IRS scrutiny for abusive schemes. Secured party arrangements are governed by UCC Article 9, while foreign grantor trusts operate under foreign law with complex compliance. Operational realities differ across structures. The XONJX Trust manages digital tokens and reserves for members, but banks may hesitate to serve digital asset trusts. 501(c)(3) churches can own property, receive donations, and enjoy tax-deductible contributions. Business trusts issue certificates but lack corporate status, making banking and fundraising challenging. Each structure's operational model affects fundraising, asset management, and compliance. Tax treatment is a key consideration. The XONJX Trust aims for Section 501(c)(3) status but faces challenges with digital tokens and debt conversion. 501(c)(3) churches are exempt from federal income tax and donations are deductible. Business trusts are usually taxed as grantor trusts or partnerships with no charitable deduction. Foreign grantor trusts offer tax deferral for the grantor but require complex reporting. Misuse of tax-exempt status can lead to penalties. Unrelated business income tax (UBIT) rates differ by structure. Private foundation trusts and business trusts face the highest rates, up to 37%. Corporate foundations benefit from a flat 21% rate. Secured party arrangements and foreign grantor trusts are treated differently and don't involve UBIT. This tax efficiency can impact long-term financial sustainability, making it a crucial factor in structure selection. Ownership and liability vary widely. In the XONJX Trust, trustees hold assets and members own beneficial interests, but trustees may face personal liability. Incorporated churches offer strong liability protection for directors, while unincorporated associations expose members to personal risk. Business trust beneficiaries have equitable interests but no management rights. Courts may disregard abusive trusts and impose liability on creators and beneficiaries. Trustees of private trusts face full personal liability unless shielded by the trust instrument. Incorporated nonprofit directors enjoy strong limited liability. UBO members may be personally liable for debts, while foreign grantor trusts offer partial protection through foreign jurisdiction. Secured party arrangements provide no liability protection for borrowers. Understanding liability exposure is essential for risk management. Each structure has unique advantages and disadvantages. The XONJX Trust is innovative but exposes trustees to liability and regulatory uncertainty. 501(c)(3) churches offer strong liability protection, tax-deductible donations, and clear regulatory frameworks. 508(c)(1)(a) churches streamline compliance but may lack formal recognition. Business trusts provide flexibility but are often misused. Secured party arrangements are simple but offer no tax or liability benefits. Foreign grantor trusts provide robust asset protection at high cost. XONJX Trust stands out for its approach to debt conversion, turning student loans and other obligations into tax-exempt bonds. Its use of TTG digital tokens enables fractional ownership and transparent tracking. The trust's mission aligns with ethical principles of debt forgiveness and international frameworks like UNDRIP, supporting indigenous empowerment and economic self-determination. Despite its innovations, the XONJX Trust faces challenges. As a trust, it's not a separate legal entity exposing trustees to personal liability. The integration of digital tokens introduces regulatory complexity, including securities and anti-money laundering laws. Transparency is limited, fee structures and processes are not publicly documented. Banking access may be restricted due to regulatory uncertainty around digital assets. 501(c)(3) church structure is the gold standard for charitable religious organizations. It provides federal income tax exemption, donor deductibility, legal recognition, and liability protection for directors and officers. This status facilitates banking, grant applications, and donor confidence, making it the preferred choice for organizations with sustainable funding and professional management. 501(c)(3) churches must operate exclusively for religious purposes, avoid private benefit, and refrain from political campaigning. Most must file annual Form 990 returns, though churches are exempt. Unrelated business income is taxed, and excessive investment income can trigger private foundation rules. Lobbying is restricted, and compliance failures can result in loss of tax-exempt status. 508(c)(1)(a) designation offers significant administrative relief. Churches are exempt from filing Form 1023 and annual Form 990 returns, saving time and money. However, they must still meet all substantive Section 501(c)(3) requirements. Some donors and banks prefer formal IRS determination letters, so churches may choose to file voluntarily for added assurance. Business trusts or UBOs offer flexibility and privacy, but carry significant risks. The IRS warns that pure trusts are often marketed as tax shelters. Legitimate uses include real estate investment trusts and equipment leasing. However, abusive arrangements are disregarded by the IRS, and income may be taxed directly to the taxpayer. Banking and fundraising are challenging due to limited legal recognition. UBO beneficiaries typically have no management rights, with all authority resting with trustees. This power imbalance can lead to conflicts. Banks are wary of UBOs due to their association with tax avoidance schemes. The tax treatment is complex, and abusive arrangements can result in severe penalties. Operational friction increases costs and limits opportunities. Legitimate secured transactions involve a creditor filing a UCC-1 statement to secure an interest in collateral. This is a standard commercial practice. However, pseudo-legal schemes claiming that UCC filings can eliminate debts are fraudulent. Courts reject such filings, and participants may face criminal charges. Always distinguish between legitimate and fraudulent uses of secured party status. Secured party status provides a creditor with priority in collateral if the debtor defaults. It does not offer tax benefits, liability protection, or debt elimination. Both parties remain subject to all applicable laws. Claims that UCC filings can discharge debts or create money are false and may constitute fraud. Filing is simple and inexpensive, but benefits are limited to collateral protection. Foreign grantor trusts are established under foreign law by a non-U.S. person. They offer strong asset protection, privacy, and tax deferral during the grantor's lifetime. U.S. beneficiaries can receive distributions tax-free, but compliance is complex. Upon the grantor's death, tax treatment changes. U.S. persons must file Forms 3520 and 3520A with severe penalties for noncompliance. High costs of foreign grantor trusts, often exceeding £40,000 for setup and £13,000 annually, make them suitable only for individuals with assets over £1 million facing real creditor threats. The benefits include asset protection and privacy, but ongoing compliance and reporting are demanding. Carefully weigh costs against benefits before proceeding. IRS assigns 98 prefix EINs to legitimate foreign entities. Some promoters falsely claim that obtaining a 98 prefix EIN makes a domestic trust foreign and tax-exempt. This is incorrect and can result in penalties, back taxes, and criminal prosecution. Always verify the true legal status of any trust and avoid schemes promising tax benefits through EIN manipulation. Ease of formation varies. The XONJX trust is relatively easy to form with a trust agreement, though digital token integration adds complexity. 501(c)(3) churches require moderate effort due to incorporation in Form 1023. 508(c)(1)(a) churches and business trusts are easier but may face banking challenges. Secured party filings are the simplest, while foreign grantor trusts are the most complex. Regulatory compliance requirements differ widely. The XONJX trust faces moderate to high burden due to multi-jurisdictional laws and digital assets. 501(c)(3) churches have moderate ongoing requirements. 508(c)(1)(a) churches have lower burden but must still comply with substantive rules. Business trusts face IRS scrutiny, while foreign grantor trusts have the highest compliance demand. 501(c)(3) churches have the strongest appeal to donors and funders due to tax-deductible contributions and regulatory recognition. 508(c)(1)(a) churches attract smaller donors but may lack formal assurance for major funders. Business trusts and secured party arrangements have limited appeal, while foreign grantor trusts are private wealth vehicles, not fundraising entities. The XONJX trust's appeal depends on transparency and regulatory status. Incorporated 501(c)(3) churches offer the strongest liability protection for directors and officers. Foreign grantor trusts provide strong asset protection, though the grantor retains tax liability. Business trusts offer moderate protection, but trustees face exposure. The XONJX trust is weaker, with trustees personally liable. Unincorporated churches and secured party arrangements offer the least protection. Operational flexibility and control differ by structure. The XONJX trust provisions may be inflexible, with amendments requiring court approval. 501(c)(3) and 508(c)(1)(a) churches allow bylaw amendments by board vote. Business trusts are difficult to modify and beneficiaries have little control. Secured party agreements are contractual and easily changed. Foreign grantor trusts' flexibility depends on jurisdiction. 501(c)(3) churches enjoy easy banking access, with banks readily providing accounts and services. 508(c)(1)(a) churches generally have good access, though some banks prefer IRS determination letters. Business trusts and UBOs face challenges due to regulatory concerns. The XONJX trust as a digital asset trust may struggle to find banking partners. Foreign grantor trusts can open accounts with proper documentation, but face enhanced due diligence. 501(c)(3) and 508(c)(1)(a) churches are best for traditional charitable, religious, and educational missions. The XONJX trust may serve innovative debt relief and digital asset needs but requires careful evaluation. Business trusts suit business investment and real estate, while foreign grantor trusts are for high net worth asset protection. Choose a structure that aligns with your mission and resources. Selecting the right structure involves defining your mission, assessing liability risk, evaluating funding sources, considering regulatory complexity, analyzing costs, and seeking professional guidance. Avoid promoters of pure trust schemes or pseudo-legal theories. Independent advice and thorough documentation are essential for informed, sustainable decisions. Be wary of structures promising guaranteed tax elimination, secret methods, or pressure tactics. Excessive complexity, lack of transparency, and mismatched purposes are red flags. Avoid schemes referencing straw man accounts, maritime law, or UCC redemption. Legitimate organizations provide clear documentation and operate transparently. Start with your mission and prioritize transparency. Obtain independent legal and accounting advice, document everything, and plan for ongoing compliance. Regularly review your structure to ensure it remains appropriate as your mission and regulations evolve. Avoid shortcuts and always choose structures with clear legal frameworks. If you're considering the XONJX Trust, conduct thorough due diligence. Consult independent counsel, request full documentation, verify trustee credentials, and understand all fees and liabilities. Confirm the trust's legal status and regulatory compliance. Start small and avoid transferring substantial assets until legitimacy is proven. Protect yourself by understanding both the benefits and risks. Organizations may need to convert structures as they grow or regulations change. Trusts can transfer assets to corporations for better liability protection. Unincorporated associations can incorporate for legal recognition. Churches can file Form 1023 for formal IRS recognition. Domestic trusts cannot simply become foreign by obtaining a 98 prefix EIN. Legitimate conversion requires proper legal steps. Operating across borders adds complexity. The XONJX Trust references both U.S. and Jamaican law, requiring compliance with both jurisdictions. Foreign grantor trusts must choose jurisdictions carefully, considering legal frameworks, costs, and reputation. Digital tokens introduce further regulatory challenges as cryptocurrency laws differ worldwide. Always clarify which laws govern your operation. Landscape is evolving with digital assets, decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, impact investing, and increased regulatory scrutiny. Organizations are exploring blockchain-based governance and hybrid structures blending charitable and business purposes. Regulators are focusing on digital platforms, crowdfunding, and anti-money laundering compliance. Staying informed and adaptable is key to long-term success. Real-world examples highlight the importance of structure choice. A community church started as a 508(c)(1) and later incorporated for growth. A business trust promoted as a tax shelter led to IRS audits and restructuring. A physician used a foreign grantor trust for asset protection, finding it effective but costly. These stories underscore the need for informed, mission-aligned decision. For more information, consult government resources like IRS, Gov, and state charity regulators. Professional organizations such as the National Council of Nonprofits and the American Bar Association offer guidance and training. The FBI provides information on fraud schemes. Independent research and professional advice are essential for navigating complex legal structures. Using the right legal structure profoundly impacts your organization's operations, compliance, and sustainability. The XONJX Trust offers innovation but comes with risks and uncertainties. 501(c)(3) churches remain the gold standard for most charitable missions. Always prioritize transparency, legal recognition, and mission alignment. Seek independent advice, understand all costs and risks, and remember that no structure is perfect, each involves trade-off. Informed, careful decision-making is the key to long-term success.